Hi, welcome to Old Guy New Tricks. I'm Ben. I'm new to making videos and I've chosen to record some of my progress learning to do different stuff, like coding C++. I've watched a lot of videos about programming and most of them are done by really experienced programmers that kind of know how to do everything. They move pretty quickly and there's not a lot of really hard troubleshooting because they've already kind of worked out the problems ahead of time. I, however, have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm still pretty useless at coding. I thought maybe other people might feel empowered by watching someone just learning to code and figuring stuff out on their own. I also hope that by sharing my progress, I can keep myself motivated to keep learning. So I hope this is entertaining and yeah, tune in for more. Start recording. Hi, thanks for sticking around for my first episode. As I said, I'm Ben, and I want to learn to code in C++. I also want to be able to write a program to help me analyze neuroscience data. Neuroscience is my day job, but being able to make my own video game would also be pretty sweet. This video is about my starting point for Brain Playground. Brain Playground will be a program dedicated to my neuroscience ambitions. And I'll explain more about the actual functionality and goals of that in later episodes, but for right now this is just the starting point of where I'm going to start exploring coding in C++. I'm starting with a June 25th, 2020 build of the Hazel game engine by the Cherno. I highly recommend you go and watch videos by the Cherno. They're really good learning tools. And he has an entire game engine series that will show you how to build what's in the background of this video. What's showing in the background is what is the current output of the build of Hazel that I'm using. So the first reason that I chose to use this particular build is because it's it's about halfway into the game engine series and it has a lot of rudimentary program elements that I wanted to be able that allow me to start coding stuff right away. So rather than having to build a system, this is kind of a ready to use system that I can just jump in and try some different things out. The Hazel game engine uses GLFW, which is a library, uses that to create windows and graphics contexts. DRM GUI is used for the user interface. Rendering accesses the graphics card through OpenGL, and there's a simple event system implemented. So all of those things kind of create a ready-made program that I can jump in and start seeing my code in action right away, rather than starting at the very, very beginning. So that'll be helpful. So as I said, the view behind me shows the current output of Brain Playground, which right now, as I said, is just the Hazel game engine. So there's some different things being drawn to a viewport. There's a settings panel up here that has some different elements in it. So a lot of these things can be derived straight from IMGUI. Let me see. The second reason that I chose this build is that it's about in the middle of the game engine series, so there's a lot of elements that haven't been implemented, and this will give me a chance to learn about those elements as I implement new things in this series. So in a moment, I'm going to give you a quick look at the code, and then the last thing I want to do in this video is show you how I uploaded this to GitHub. Alright, so I just wanted to take a quick minute to go through the code base. Like I said, the code base is at this point is just Hazel Game Engine. I've changed some of the language into my own kind of namespace, so I'm using the Brain namespace Brain. I've changed a bunch of the language from Hazel to Brain just to kind of make it my own, but right now it's still just Hazel Game Engine, and I hope to pretty quickly be writing some of my own code. and trying out different things, exploring different things. So within this program, I'm using Visual Studios 2022. This is the solution is Brain, and there's a few projects located within Brain. Each of those projects has some source files, header files, and C++ files. I'll talk more about code as I start learning to do stuff, and I'll reference my sources so that you can go back and try to learn the same things that I did, and figure out the new things that I'm doing. But that's all I wanted to show you for now. I'll go deeper into the code in later videos. The next thing I want to do is take you through how to set up your GitHub. So to do that, you just, in Visual Studios, you just go to Git. And what I did is let me see, commit or stash local repositories. Okay, so this is Visual Studio, and I'm just going to create a new project. I go in here, I create an empty project. I'm just going to name it my first project, or I think I called it my first program. You can tell that I already did this once because there's already some information in the location section, but I did practice once before I did this. So make my first program, checking everything out. Okay, let me hit create. All right. Now we're going to go to the area where we can actually write some code. I like to look at the projects. I like to look at the actual files. Of course, there's no files to start. I'm going to add a folder. I'm just going to call it SRC for source code, and then I'm going to put a file in there. And that file's going to be a C++ file. I'm just going to leave it named source. Doesn't matter. This is just a single test file. Okay, we're going to include IOStream. IOStream is going to allow us to get some like input output to the console. This is going to be a console program. It's just going to open up a console window. We have our main function. That's the primary function for every program. And we're going to use stdcout. That's in the IOStream library. And that's going to help us just print out a phrase string to the console. And because we have int main, we want to return a number. We'll return 0, so if the program works properly, then we'll return 0. I'm going to compile and run it. And there it goes. And boom. Okay, so now here the program comes, and you can see right at the top of that screen my first program. Closed it right away because all I needed to do was see that it worked. And then I just want to create a repository, and that was the whole point of creating this little program. So just to show you how easy it is to upload your stuff to GitHub. So I just clicked Git, said create repository. It's already got the location path for my project, for the solution. And okay, so my GitHub name is in there. I'm going to make it public. Just checking other things, create and push. I'm checking other things because I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. This is like the second time I've ever done that the right way. And now you can see in the bottom left-hand corner that it's creating the GitHub library. It just created it. And so now I'm going to go over to Google Chrome, where I'm going to go to GitHub, and can see in there my first program is now uploaded to my GitHub.